All right. Hello, everybody. We are back for our 3 o'clock session with Aleya Harris. I'm going to give everybody a few more minutes to get back, finish answering their emails, press those send buttons. Let's go. Let's learn some more. Excited to have Aleya joining us from California. Let me give our bronze sponsor some love here. Eric said he misses California. I don't know, Eric. I think you're pretty cool down there in Arizona. I like that area. Of course, I've never lived in California, so I don't know. $30 degrees hotter in Arizona. Carl, I am in South Carolina, where we got heat indexes of 100 degrees this past weekend while we were out camping. But don't worry, because it'll be like 65 degrees tomorrow, I'm sure. So, yeah, it was 92 degrees, I think, with a heat index of 100. So, and then of course we get the summer thunderstorm. So it pours down rain, cools off, and then the sun comes out, heats right back up to 95 degrees, and it's humidity everywhere. So fun times. But I lead a scout troop here, and we say there's no such thing as bad weather, just bad preparation and bad gear. So you just learn to deal with it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and kick it off here. Again, just want to call out our bronze sponsors here with W3 Care and IC360. Oliver, owner of IC360, we heard from him earlier. W3 Care, an Expression Engine conference sponsor, as well as an Expression Engine partner. So definitely reach out to them if you need any help, if you need some extra horsepower on your team or have some work that needs to be done. Both of these companies have been around the community for a while and are very helpful. Again, we see representatives of these companies or the owners themselves in Slack all the time. At our partners meeting, it's great to speak with them and hear their opinions on where Expression Engine is going. Great people to work with. Just like, again, I say that again, but all of our sponsors, all of our partners, great people to work with, everyone in the Expression Engine community. I love you guys to death. This afternoon, though, we're going to kick off into marketing. So go from Eric's very technical developer talk into Aleya Harris. Aleya is owner of Flourish Marketing. Again, like I said, she's in California. So as we move over to the West Coast of the United States, Aleya is a certified professional in catering and events. And she is also story brand certified, which is definitely something that we've heard a lot of recently. So Aleya, we're excited to hear from you, excited that you're able to join us today. Thank you so much for being here.
I am thrilled to be here. Thank you for having me. It's going to be an awesome session. We're going back to basics with the marketing funnel.
I love it. I love it. So turning interest into action. Aleya, I'm going to head on out of here, but I will be listening. If you need any help, just yell. Okay. And then when you start to wrap things up, I'll hop back on and kind of moderate the Q&A for you as well. So
wonderful.
But Aleya, again, thank you so much for being here and looking forward to what you have to share with us today.
Thank you. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna go ahead and start sharing my screen now. If you cannot see said screen, be sure to let me know in the chat before I'm on slide 20. And you guys are like, we haven't been with you this entire time. Oh, we see it. Perfect. Let's dive on in. Again, my name is Aleya Harris. I'm a Story Brand Certified Guide. I've been a marketer for over 14 years. I've kind of done it all. Like you said, I was a chef, a catering company owner, and I was also the head of marketing for one of the largest corporate food service and facilities management companies in the world. And now I have the utmost pleasure of owning my own business, Flourish Marketing, where we focus on messaging strategy to help you tap into your authentic story, share it with the world, and attract your ideal customers. We are in the business of helping empire building entrepreneurs turn themselves from leaders into legends. All of that is great, but how does this all work in the first place? What is marketing and why do we need to do it? And that's the purpose of this conversation that we're having today, is answering those questions. First of all, let's talk about what's not working and some of the problems that marketing and marketing funnels fix. First, you maybe, especially if you're a service-based business, you have this sporadic calendar, you have inconsistent clients. You might be wondering and fearing about, well, what happens if this valley of no clients lasts forever? I mean, I get leads, we do word of mouth, but it doesn't seem like I have any real control over my revenue. And that is terrifying because I have bills and I have, college tuition and soccer practice and all of that to cover. What happens if I were to not ever have control over what I'm doing? Basically, you're really good at what you do. I don't know you all personally here, but if you're here, you're already investing in yourselves and what you do. So I'm going to go off on a not really long limb or short limb and say that you're really talented, but talent does a business not make. You need more than a talent to make money, but I have a firm belief that you should be able to make money doing what you love. And you will have a very difficult time doing that if you don't implement a marketing funnel. A marketing funnel at the very core is a framework businesses use to turn strangers into customers. Not just any old strangers, though. These are people who are some of the sexiest people you've ever met. Why? Why are they so sexy? Because these are the people that are going to pay you money to use your talent so that they can get more treasure, have that beautiful result that they want for their lives. Those sexy people are represented here by the fuchsia icons at the top. All of those people, you're like, oh my goodness, if I could get my hands on them, I would be in the money, baby. But you can't just go off and accost these people. It's not going to work. You need a system to be able to build lucrative relationships, which is what marketing is all about. You have all of the tactics, all of the tools, all of the systems, all of the frameworks, but at the end of the day, your goal is to build lucrative relationships. Relationships have a sense of give and take. They have a sense of reciprocity. They have a sense of connection. And then the lucrative part is like, we're not just here to be friends, pay me my money. So in order to do that, you need to put those beautiful fuchsia people in a system to get to know them and to have them get to know you. And that is what the marketing funnel is. It starts off at the top of the marketing funnel with attracting them. So these people have never heard of you. You think they're sexy, but they're just like, I can't even see you. So you need to position yourself where they hang out so that you can grab their attention, and they can also be like, oh, we're just two sexy beasts in a room together. I think that we should continue this conversation. And as you continue the conversation with them, that's when you're in the middle of the marketing funnel, where you're converting them into your audience, your clique, your squad, your crew. These are the people who you are earning the right to sell to at a later date. And selling happens at the bottom of the funnel. Your goal is to turn those fuchsia people at the top into those dollar signs at the bottom. One of the things that I want to talk about also is the fact that it is in fact a funnel, meaning it is wider at the top and narrower at the bottom. I really don't like rejection. I'm just going to be honest. Like, I applied to speak at like this really hoity-toity conference and I got rejected and I was like pissy about it. But I could linger on that, or I could linger on the fact that I applied to speak to 100 conferences, 50 accept me, and there will be 50 that don't, right? That's just part of the game. It's a part of the speaking game. It's a part of the business game. It's part of the life game. How many people have you dated, right? How many people did you marry? Just one. So you're dating all of these people at the top, and there's going to be a lot of people who you don't like. It's not a right fit. They're not ready to buy now. Lots of reasons why. At the bottom, there's a lot of people at the top. There's only $3 signs at the bottom. I want you to keep that in mind as we continue to talk about the marketing funnel, because it's about a union of who you are and who they are, and that sweet spot. If we had a Venn diagram, that sweet spot right in the middle. Not everybody's going to be in that sweet spot, and that's okay. When you get the unsubscribe from your email list, that's okay. When people don't like or follow, that's okay, because you don't need everybody. You just need the ideal client who is ready to buy what you are selling at the right time. Let me give you an example of how this would work. I have a lot of experience in the wedding industry. We work with folks across industries, but wedding is my home as a former private chef and catering company owner. So I'm going to use an example, and we're going to pretend like you are a wedding planner, and everybody kind of knows what a wedding planner does. They're the ones who plan the wedding. It's pretty self-explanatory, right? Let's say that you are a destination wedding planner. So at the top of the funnel here, you're like, how am I going to attract my folks? Well, you're super smart. You're super savvy. You go where they're hanging out. So you guest blog for a large wedding publication where all of your ideal customers are hanging out, theknot.com, and you pick a blog title that is related to what you sell. The top 10 reasons you should have a destination wedding. You're in the money. They're reading it. Your name's out there. You're linking back to your website. It's great. But you're even smarter than that, because you're like, it's great that my name's getting out there, but my ego won't pay the bills. I need them to come to my website and to join my email list, which for me is the most powerful way to use a marketing funnel, is through email marketing. So inside of that blog post, in the middle of the funnel, you include a free download to capture their email addresses. And then the readers enter in their information, their first name and their email address, to get your free download. It's an exchange. Email addresses and information are the currency of the internet. They are the currency of marketing funnels, the currency of marketing now in a digital age. So by giving them this juicy content that they really need the information for right now, then you are able to get their email address, and you're email rich. Being email rich is a good place. It's a good place to be. Then you decide to email them with regularity to introduce yourself, let them know that you are a helpful expert, to answer their problems, and make sure that you are positioned to be their wedding planner. In the end, you convert your email list subscribers into customers through calls to action and promotional content. This is a very high level of how a marketing funnel works in the wild. And we're going to go and dive into each of these elements. But first, I want you to not be creepy, because the primary thing a lot of people say is, I don't need a marketing funnel. I have word of mouth, or I just see someone hand my business card. It's not working, but I'm going to keep trying. Imagine this situation. You go into a car dealership to look at your dream car. It's there. It's cherry red, and it's shiny and fast and speedy, and you go, and then you get the sales dealer and that salesperson, and they're like, so you're going to do cash, you need financing, what? And you're like, we haven't even talked. What is your name? Who are you? I know something about the car, but I really just kind of like the paint. Like, can you tell me a little bit more? And they're like, no, check, financing, cash, let's do this thing. They're trying to close you right from the beginning, and that's creepy. It's weird. So you end up leaving the dealership without ever wanting to return because they did not take the time to build the relationship with you. Let's take another route. If you truly believe that selling is a multi-step process, which I've articulated in that marketing funnel, let's see how that situation could go differently if said dealership person, salesperson, decided to use a marketing funnel. They would have known that they need to establish know, like, and trust before they consult you. They have to earn the right to sell to you. So they come in and they ask questions. They find out about your goals and, now and in the future with this car, with your life. They allow you to take time to peruse the selection. They talk about your financial situation. They even give you an opportunity. Hey, do you want to come back? That's fine. I'm always here Monday through Friday. These are the times. I might follow up with a text. I might follow up with a phone call. Here's some helpful information about the car. Gas mileage was important for you. Have you seen the eco-friendly model, right? They're building a relationship by asking questions. You don't, like Doug says, want to close too early. No. You do not want to close too early because people will leave. Now, it's really easy to see this in a car dealer situation, but digitally, if you in your social media posts or on your website are like, bye, you're closing too early. You're being creepy. Don't be creepy. Let's take it to another example, just really quick. Let's say you're in a coffee shop. You ordered your double frap, floppity blop, goop, whip, caramel nonsense. I don't drink coffee, so. You get that, which is just going to go straight to your thighs, if we're honest. And you then look across the room and somebody else has the exact same gobbledygook caffeine in a cup that you do. And you start striking up a conversation with this person. Now, if you or that person, probably that person, because we all know you're not creepy, that person comes and says, great. So I'm totally fine to get married like next weekend. My mom's kind of a pain, but you're going to love my dad. And I just need your social security number, maybe your credit card to put down for the flowers, but I'm good to go. How about you? Hopefully you pepper spray that person and keep it pushing and find another Starbucks, right? Like that's the universe telling you that you are not in the place that you need to be, right? It's too much, too fast, too soon. Think of the marketing funnel as dating. You need to date before you can buy. So, or marry in that case, right? You meet at this coffee shop, then maybe you go out for a couple more coffee dates, then it's dinner, then it's dancing. And maybe several months later, you might have the very clear question of, will you marry me? But by that time, you have a relationship established and hopefully you get, or they get a yes from you. So we're going to learn how to be patient and take sales at the speed of relationships. Let's break down these relationships, talking about the top, the middle, and the bottom of the marketing funnel in a little bit more detail. The TOF, top of funnel, is where you increase visibility and awareness. Your goal is to attract as many of these folks as possible with juicy content. And I don't mean like stuff that you're like writing like your kid's soccer game with like one eye on the pad and the other eye on them running the wrong way on the field. I'm talking about stuff that you're like, dang, should I charge for this? I should probably charge for this. This is good. This is super helpful. That kind of content. That's what you want to put out into the world. You want to be extremely generous with your ideas and concepts. You are wanting to give your clients, future clients, quick wins and solve their specific pain points. If any of you are familiar with the Story Brand Framework, you will know that every client has a problem that you need to solve. And if your product is not positioned to solve their problem, you will not make a profit. This is where you do the positioning to solve said problem for your ideal clients. Top of funnel content should definitely be in line with what you sell. I see a lot of this where people just get generous, but generous in the wrong direction. They're like, I'm just a giver. I just want to give random information out. It's all right and good and wonderful. Has nothing to do with what I sell. You want to make sure that you're still relating to what you sell, because otherwise you're just a content machine and there's no ROI in it for you. You're still a little selfish about this, right? It still has an end goal of, remember, turning those fuchsia people into those dollar signs at the bottom. When you're writing this content, you want to educate or entertain the people that are reading it, or a little bit of both. I prefer edutain. If you steal edutain, please cite the author, who is me. Actually, it's my husband, but we won't tell him that. He's fine. You want to educate and entertain. If you think about content nowadays, it's not, for most industries, super reliant on the 50-page white paper. People don't have that much time. They don't have that much attention unless you're in a heavy technical industry. But even most tech, what we consider tech companies, the people that are buying the tech are looking for easy, quick solutions that you can communicate more effectively than in a 50-page white paper. I'm just putting it out there. You can fight me on it in the comments should you decide to. But thank you for my trademark on edutain. I appreciate that. If you are really trying to reach the human beings on the other side of that email, you need to educate and inspire and provide lots of free value at the top of your marketing funnel. Here are some tactics to take to attract more folks to your website and to your content. First, SEO. SEO is a long-range thing. So don't be like, Aleya, I tried SEO. I put on my keywords yesterday, and today I'm not a millionaire. None of this is going to make you a millionaire overnight. Let me just be very honest with you. If you do run into a marketer that says, I can make you $10 million in 10 minutes, run, they're just going to steal your money. That is not how marketing works. Remember, we're still dealing with human beings, with real people. You're moving at the speed of relationships, but SEO will help you be found by the right people in organic search. It's this process of improving your content's visibility on search engines, ranking higher on Google to drive more traffic to your website for certain keywords that are relevant to what you sell and what you do. It's also what people are typing in. I have a disclaimer. I am not an SEO expert. I know enough to be dangerous. I'm a strategist and a copywriter. However, one of the things that you want to be careful of is thinking you know the words that your clients use and thinking you're putting those words on your website. The best way to figure out, well, best thing to do is work with an SEO expert. So let's start there. After that, if you're like, I'm not right there, girl, yet, like give me some quick and dirty things I can do by myself. You want to look at your testimonials and reviews. What words are they using to describe their problem? What words are they using to describe the solution that you provide? Because that's most likely, especially if you start to see themes, the words that people are going to be typing in the search engine to find businesses like yours. SEO is incredibly helpful because it's measurable with analytics, and you can tweak and adjust pretty easily as you produce consistent content. After SEO, we are talking about PR and press. I am super biased to PR and press being, basically how I built my business. So story time with Aleya. I started my business back when I was still the head of marketing for North America in 2018. My prayer to the universe sounded something like this. Universe, I need you to make this business hyper successful before I ever leave this job. And I need to be able to use the revenue from this business. I'm going to pay off all of my debt. I'm going to make sure I buy a bigger house. And I'm just going to be like living a cushy life. So when I leave, it's like I barely even feel it. I barely even feel the transition. We all know how this went, right? That is not at all what happened. I got laid off at the beginning of the pandemic and had to figure it out. The smartest thing that I did was get a publicist. I got a publicist right from the beginning. I was terrified because it was a lot of money for me at the time because I didn't have any money. I was broke. Getting a publicist meant that I was able to have someone else tell people how wonderful I was, because she was putting me in places where publications were allowing me to write for them. And then they were saying, hey, look, come and read. I was able to use their audiences, tap into where my ideal clients were hanging out, and draw them back to my site. I was able to accomplish more in my business because of publicity than any other attention grabbing tool. Once I got my poop in a group, and I registered my business as an S Corp in September 2020, we made our first 6 figures in 5 months. Was it because I'm a wizard? Well, yes, this is true. However, in addition to my magical wizardry, it is also because I had an audience and I went and bought that audience. I put the elbow grease into being a thought leader in that space so that they were coming to me. You want to make sure before you do this, you get certain things together. You need your personal brand on point. I looked the same. I sounded the same. I had a set stable of topics I talked about and wrote about when I did PR. You also want to make sure that you are working in the medium with which you are most comfortable. I could talk to anyone at any time and any day. It's what I do. I love it. I love being on stage. I love being on these webinars. I love helping people be the best versions of themselves. I'm also a really good writer. I mean, I own a copywriting business. It's kind of like what we do, right? If neither one of those are you, or only one is you and not the other, go with your strengths. Do not try to be someone you are not, because it will backfire on you, and PR can also have an ugly side. If you are not like, I'm gonna go run right out and get a publicist, go and make a list of the publications where your ideal client are hanging out, the conferences, the awards, the speaking engagements, the podcasts where your audience is hanging out, and go be on them, because it's a great way to, one, refine your message, and two, reach your clients with really little money put up front. One of the best ways that I found also to get on podcasts is using a tool called Podmatch. All one word, podmatch.com. It's free. And it has a bunch of podcast hosts on it. I've been a guest on over 120 podcasts, not including my own podcast. And I started with my publicist in one niche industry and then used Podmatch to get on all of the other ones. So if you're wanting to tap into it to attract this audience because you're like, I ain't got no one listening to me, that's a great way to do it. And then in every place, you draw them back to your website. You draw them back to your lead magnet, which we're going to talk about in a second, so that it's not just you talking to hear yourself talk. It is you driving traffic and you're selling at the beginning of the marketing funnel. Paid advertising is also a great way. This is Google ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads. They are not a silver bullet, and they are not what they used to be. I wish I had spent a whole lot more money on ads a year ago, knowing what would happen to them now. You have to be very strategic with your ads and your ad spend now, and you have to do a lot of testing. And they are more of a longer range strategy than they used to be. They used to be very short. You could like pop some money on an ad, pop it on a lead magnet, get some audience, bada bing, bada boom, you're good to go. It's like, was a great way to kind of kick yourself off. That's not what we're talking about right now. We are talking about a longer range strategy that will require a lot of testing. However, that's a great way to buy data. What do I mean by that? Test out your wording, test out your images, see what's working with which audience, and then that might allow you to adjust your messaging in other places. You are going to still be able to have results and fill up your email list, but don't just, I have clients that do this all the time that are like, just throw money at it, just buy an ad. And that is not a realistic expectation. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but that's just, it kind of is what it is. You're going to take a multi-pronged approach. That'll make you more successful. Another thing is to look at everybody in this room. These are your homies. This is your clique. People in your industry, people who do the exact same thing as you, are people who are great to enter into co-opetition models with. I'm a StoryBrand certified guide, right? There's like 800 of us inside of this gorgeous Slack community. We could all be like, oh my gosh, we do the same thing. I'm not talking to you. That would be a mistake, because in the beginning, when your girl was struggling, I got probably like 50% of my business for white labeling, writing for other StoryBrand guides. We did the exact same thing, but they were more successful than I had. They had the extra time or the extra clients. I needed some help. Don't block off going into and working with other people at the top of the funnel and being able to say, hey, can I just work with your audience? And you'll learn a lot in the process. Another thing is that we've talked about already, take it offline. I know it's hard especially if you have an online business, to do everything. You want to do everything online, take it offline, show up IRL in real life, do some group coaching, do some speaking, do some conferences, and showing up and making that human connection really doesn't have a replacement. Let's move to the middle, where we're going to build the lucrative relationships here in the middle of the marketing funnel. Your middle of your marketing funnel goal is to convert as many of those people who you captured at the top into your BFFs, right? They're coming to your website, you're building those relationships, you're capturing that lead, and you're having the opportunity to nurture the relationship and build additional trust. Let's talk about how to do that inside of the middle of the funnel. The first thing is a lead magnet. I adore a good lead magnet. I even have a page on my website where I just put them all because I kept cranking them out. I actually cleaned it up a little while ago, and we have 3 more lead magnets in the works. Why? Because they work. They do a couple of different things. Well, first of all, let me not be too jargony. A lead magnet is a piece of content that you give away for free in exchange for your ideal customer's name and email address. Remember when we talked about in the beginning where the lead magnet for the wedding planner was her destination or his or her destination wedding planning book guide? That's what the lead magnet was. They can be ebooks or PDFs, and we're going to talk about some other forms that they can take, even my favorite form that's been the most lucrative for me in a second here. But you can use them to determine who your audience is and make sure that it's just them, right? So for the top 5 wedding planning mistakes and how to avoid them, as this show on the screen in this example, you're really only going to attract people who are getting married, right? Like that's who you know is going to download it. If you are addressing a specific pain point, even more specific than in this example, you will have a better chance of targeting and attracting those lead magnets, attracting those ideal customers, and your conversion rate will increase because you will start off with a better pool of fuchsia people to begin with that were at the top there. As you are building your lead magnet, I want you to also consider the fact that you are now building a revenue generating source, which is your email list. I love social media. I mean, I haven't made a reel in a while, but I mean, I was killing it. My reel game was strong for a little while there. And I love LinkedIn, love IG, but I don't own any of that. Don't own that. No matter how much effort I put into it, I don't own that audience. This was made blatantly apparent to me when maybe like a year ago, maybe less than a year ago, I must have posted something. I don't know what I posted. I promise I'm not a bad girl. But Instagram deleted my account. No warning, just straight up gone. And it was my name. It wasn't even flourishmarketing.co, because then I could be like adjust and maybe like just get another one. No, it was my name. It was at Aleya Harris. How am I I can't replace that, right? I had no followers, no contact, no nothing with anybody because my account was just gone. Luckily, I had my email list, and I actually made money because of that, because I said, hey, everybody, are you relying only on social? I'm not, which is why I'm able to talk to you right now. If you are and you would like us to copyright and build your email funnels out, we can do that for you. And we actually got several new clients that way, right? But if you don't have an email list, not to be a little crass, but you're kind of screwed. So I don't want that for you. This is why we're talking about you building your email list, starting with your lead magnet. It wasn't until I did all the appeals, and oh my God, their appeal process is just ridiculous. It wasn't until I actually contacted my cousin, who at the time was Mark Zuckerberg's executive assistant, and that was when I was able to get my account back. It took that to get my account back after trying for several months. So I got it back. It's great. It's wonderful. I try to be as good of a girl on there as possible because I don't want to be flagged or deleted again. But the main point here is that if I had never been able to get it back, what would I have done? Well, I would have leaned on email. And email is where I make most of my money anyways in that conversation. When you're building a lead magnet, you want to keep some things in mind. You want it to be high value. It should be something that people will pay $20 or more for in their brains, and you're giving it to them for free. It needs to be instantly accessible. You will work best if it's something that can be delivered right away, because people love instant gratification. And it also needs to demonstrate your expertise or UVP, unique value proposition. When someone consumes your lead magnet, it should demonstrate your expertise or your unique value proposition, and this helps turn your leads into customers down the road. There are some lead magnets that work really well, like in a PDF format, like a checklist or a guide. Checklists help your ideal customer make sure they have all they need, and a guide walks them through the process. You could also use templates, which might be even a spreadsheet, for example, or a Trello template or something like that, which will provide a framework to simplify the tasks. You also could have a video series, which works really well because then they see your face and they're able to make that connection. My favorite, which I promised you, is the quiz. Oh, lordy, lordy. I convert on a quiz like nobody's business. Why? I want you to remember who you're talking to. You are talking to people who are narcissists with short attention spans. That's who you're marketing to. Even you as a human, when you're being marketed to, you are a narcissist with a short attention span. Is it about me? Can you make it about me? When was the last time about me? Did you just make it about me? I'm sorry, I forgot. Can you make it about me again? I really love it when you make it about me. That's who you're marketing towards. So a quiz allows people to find out more about themselves, diagnose a problem, say how they stack up against something with a certain knowledge set, right? A quiz is instant gratification. And in the end, in order to get the results, they give you their email address and you're able to give them the results and have a mini sales blurb all at the same time. So I find quizzes to be beautiful. My favorite quiz software is Interact. You can go to tryinteract.com. I do have an affiliate link, but I don't know what that is. So just go to tryinteract.com and you can sign up for the quiz software there. That is my absolute favorite one to use. Webinars are also powerful marketing tools. You have a webinar like the one that I'm on right now, which is technically part of the PR, right? This is not my own platform. You also can use webinars in the middle of the funnel when you're inviting your own audience to have a masterclass with you, to learn something, to have a little mastermind with you. A webinar is great. It does take a little bit more to put together, but you can expect higher engagement. Anytime you get more human, you will make better results. So in-person, me speaking to you is the best way to get results. I'm as human as I can be. We're as close and connected as we can be. The further away you move from individual humanity, the harder it is to get conversions. So this is not the time to be shy when you're trying to build these lucrative relationships. In my experience and with my clients, you need to go out, reach out and touch somebody if you can. I wanted to mention remarketing. It's a lot harder now than it used to be because of the iOS 14 update, where basically Apple was like, you can't use our folks' data. And it's more expensive, but it still does happen. This is when you're looking up some shoes on Amazon. All of a sudden you go to Instagram and there are those shoes, again, trying to get you to buy them. This is that. It is a solid strategy still. It might be a little bit more expensive, but I would work with an ads person to help you retarget using Facebook or Instagram ads. It also helps with middle and bottom of the funnel content. Social media. If you notice, I put social media ads at the top of the funnel and social media, organic social media in the middle. Yes, you can be discovered on social media, but man, that's a whole slow slog. That is a slow slog. Social media's purpose is to build relationships and to showcase who you really are. So if you are posting regularly and consistently, consistency is the name of the game for all marketing, but especially social media, you are going to build know, like, and trust by taking your ideal customer avatar behind the scenes, strategically sharing more about you and your business and offering relevant and helpful advice. You need a social media strategy. You need a social media plan. If you do not have one and you're posting willy-nilly, you're not truly using the platforms for their best effort. What I recommend is to not look at each thing in the middle of the funnel separately. You want to coordinate your emails, your social media posts, and your blogs to build a strong messaging platform. You pick 3 to 5 themes of who you are, what you talk about, what problems you solve, and how you solve them, and then rotate amongst them. This is what I mean. Let's say you have week 1 and you have 5 themes. You can do it where you post a theme a day, and then you start again, but then on Wednesdays, theme 3, that's what your social media post is, that's what your blog post is, and that's what you're emailing out to your audience. And you would rotate through them for an entire month so that you're touching on all of the themes at some point in time and you are staying relevant. You're not like, well, what am I going to talk about today? I don't know. How am I going to make this work for me? I don't know. You have some guidance, and it will also help you with procrastination. If you're like me, you are a big procrastinator when it comes to writing your own content. Am I talking to anybody in this room? And if not, well, then I'll just be a procrastinator over here by myself. But this helps you deal with procrastination as well. The rule of 7, always remember your prospect needs to hear your message at least 7 times before they'll book. That's why you're saying it over and over again. That's why you have your themes. That's why you're staying consistent. When you are bored of your message, that means that you're just getting started. Most people haven't heard it yet. Keep talking about the same things. Brands, how many times has Nike said, just do it? Can you imagine their marketing manager? They're like, just do it. Oh my God, just do it. I am so tired of seeing that dang swoosh, right? But that's how you build a platform. Now everybody knows it. Those are what big brands are made of big, whether it's big in revenue or big, whether it's in strength. You need to repeat your message and realize that until they've heard it 7 times, they're not even really listening to you. Another thing that I want to mention is websites and pop-up forms popping up with your lead magnet. People find them annoying. I don't really care because they work. They have about a 10% conversion rate. A 10% conversion rate on a website is pretty darn good for a pop-up and a pop-up form. Email marketing is also one of my favorite marketing channels to use for a very simple reason. It works. I make money. So I do it. That's what you should do as well. It's great for all stages of the marketing funnel, the top, middle, and bottom, as we already discussed, but I highly recommend it. And I do not have a time to get into the nitty-gritty of email marketing, but I do have a guide that will help you. You can text the words future proof to 33777 or go to flourishmarketing.co/email-guide to get your guide on email marketing. I walk you through step-by-step with templates and tools so you can build that revenue generating asset for yourself. I love email marketing. It's what Donald Miller teaches as being effective, and I found that it has helped me and my clients over 10x our revenue. Let's close this sale. Is anybody ready to make some money and figuring out how to turn all this content into dollars? If you're not, I'm so sorry, but I know I am, because this is where all of the hard work pays off. Your goal at the bottom of the funnel, this is a moment of truth, people. You are turning those fuchsia people into those dollar signs. You are getting people to pay your service fee, your product, buy your product, and work with you. You're going to use your sales copy, yes, absolutely, but your testimonials are going to be even larger for you. People buy when other people say that they trust you. It's just like, if I were to say, no, trust me, it's going to be fine. What are you instantly thinking? Oh, no, I'm not trusting you. As soon as you said, trust me, I was not going to trust you. No, you are now the most untrustworthy person on the planet because you said, trust me, it'll be fine. If you keep saying that on your website, people will start giving you the side eye. But if other people say that, all of a sudden people say, oh my gosh, you should totally trust Aleya. She's totally trustworthy. You're like, for real? Okay, cool. I'm going to trust her. That's really what a testimonial is doing, getting other people to say that you are trustworthy and that other people should buy from you. That's what we are doing here with testimonials. They're incredibly powerful. When you ask for a testimonial, do not just say, so what was your experience like with us? I send out a form and it asks, what was your greatest problem before working with us? How did we help you solve that problem? How did that problem make you feel? When we were solving that problem, how did we do it better than anybody else that you've worked with? What does life look like now that we've solved this problem? What are the next steps for you after you have solved said problem? That's how you collect a testimonial that you can use, because then you're identifying what problems are, doing a little bit of research. And when you post that on your website, other people will resonate with that and say, oh my gosh, that feels like me. She's working, he's working, they're working with people that are just like me. I'll work with them as well. Your leads at this point in time do not need more information. What they need is a kick in the butt at the end of the funnel. You've given them all the information, your website, the lead magnet, the content, the social, all the things. They need you to kick them in the butt and tell them buy from me. And that's what your sales copy, your testimonials, and your email sequences help people do. It helps them envision working with you, and then you call them into action and tell them to actually buy from you. Now let's talk about a few tactics at the bottom of the funnel so that you can actually convert those website visitors into those paying clients. One, you gotta not have it all out. Like, your mama used to say, why buy the milk if you get why buy the cow if you get the milk for free? That's what it is. Why buy the cow if you get the milk for free? Don't give them all your goodies, right? Tell them this is a limited time offer. Tell them we only have 50 slots available. Tell them this is only going to be available for the first 100 people that sign up, right? Use scarcity and have it be true. Don't manipulate people. Have it be true. Don't say, we only have 50 slots. Oh, whoops. We actually have 100 slots. Like, no, you only have 50 slots. You only have 50 slots. So you don't step out of your integrity when you're using scarcity. But people immediately are interested when something is rare. They're like, oh, well, I only have an hour to buy this. Well, I guess I should buy it now. And what happens after the hour is done? Will I be able to solve my problem? Then their minds start reeling, and all of a sudden they click buy now. They're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what happened. I just bought it. That's what you're looking for. It's one of the strongest tactics you can use to acquire more customers. You can use it inside of your email sequences. You can use it inside of your promotions and your webinars and your speaking engagements. All of it. It's a huge draw, because otherwise what happens is people go, I'll do it later, and they never do. They never do, and they never will. They'll save your Instagram post and then won't do anything later, right? You need them to take action now, because if they don't take action now, they will not take action later. After we add a little bit of scarcity, always remember that you can sell more to them, and then you want them to sell immediately. You want to build your funnel, if your services work like this, to upsell immediately. So you can do that in the initial sales process by using something like ClickFunnels or Deadline Funnel. Like, hey, you've bought this. Would you like to add on this other product for $29.99? Or if your products are not $29.99, you could do something a little differently. I'm going to take you behind the scenes into my process for a second. We offer strategy session that has a price range starting at $5,000. So you participate in our strategy session and our whole strategy session process. And at the end, we lay out for you your 12-month marketing plan. So you have your strategy session, you get a 30-page empire building marketing blueprint that lays out your messaging and your strategy and everything that you need to really differentiate yourself in the market. Then at the end, we've laid out your marketing plan. And then on that next call with you, we say, would you like to move forward with additional copywriting in order to execute this plan? And we have the proposal ready, and we're ready to go with the contract based off of the plan that we have proposed. That is upselling. It is easier, so much easier to sell to a client you already have rather than acquiring another one. People think that you work through the top of the marketing funnel and like it just funnels out and you're done. Once they're a client, and you're done. If you actually look up HubSpot's flywheel, that's probably a better way to look at it. You can work each level of that funnel until it's just dry. This bottom of the funnel is rich with additional sales opportunities. If you're not taking advantage of it and you're only going top to bottom, top to bottom, top to bottom, you're going to be exhausted, and it's not a way to build a sustainable business. You will also start to realize that you resent your business after a while. And I don't want that for you. I don't want you to lead yourself to burnout. Work the bottom of the funnel, because that's where you've done the work, and have it pay off for you as best you can. The bottom line here is that you are going to use the information I gave you today, and you're going to implement it so that you can transform your business and become the confident and competent owner of a lucrative, seasonally stable, and growing business. You're going to have that sporadic calendar, and you're going to take it and you're going to turn it into growth, because now you are in control. You are in control of your revenue. It's not just word of mouth. I don't know about you, but have you ever tried to control the words coming out of somebody else's mouth? If any of you have children or a spouse, you know that is really just impossible. I don't want my revenue, my bills, my kids' future to be reliant upon whether Sally decides to tell her friends about me. Instead of doing that, you will be able to have the growth you're looking for with that powerful asset that generates revenue on demand, which will be your email list and your marketing funnel. You'll take that fear of failure, will this ever end, to feeling empowered. You now have something you can do about this, about that valley of no clients, about feeling like you're taking a slump, about not being able to go to the next level. You'll get that stability that should make you feel energized, focused, and creative. And then you, above all, will go from feeling a little unstable, a little shaky, to being future-proof so that you can survive and thrive doing what you love. Now, all I have left to do really is congratulate you because you have control of your revenue generation. Go you. You did it. Go you. When you do this, you will be able to use that strategic approach to emails, blogs, and social media to drive bookings from your ideal customer. Again, if you'd like more of an nitty-gritty, I mean, this guide is like 20, 30 pages, I think. You're going to text Future Proof to 33777 to get more information on email list building. You can also go to flourishmarketing.co/email-guide to be able to download this guide. It includes a marketing funnel overview, again, step-by-step processes, how to, make sure you are removing that guesswork, benchmarks to know if you're doing it right, and tech tips. So go to flourishmarketing.co/email-guide to get your bonus from this session. Also, I mentioned my podcast earlier. I would love for you to come and take a listen. You can scan that QR code or go to flourishmarketing.co/podcast. We release an episode every single Wednesday. It's really all about helping you get rid of burnout, become the truest, best version of yourself as an entrepreneur, because it's hard out here in these entrepreneur streets. And sometimes you need a little bit of uplifting and education. And that's what we do on the Flourishing Entrepreneur podcast. Again, my name is Aleya Harris. You can follow me and my team here on all of these places on the gram and other places across the internet. And my website is flourishmarketing.co. This is the end of my presentation currently, but I would love to take any questions that you have.
Thanks, Aleya. Great presentation there. I had your website, I had your podcast, I had your freebies all queued up to show everybody, and you took it away from me and put it right in your presentation.
I'm sorry.
I know. It's all good. I've been trying to post the links on the chat and everything for everybody. So if you haven't been paying attention, you can go to the chat and see a lot of the links that Aleya mentioned. Definitely go through her website. More than what she showed here. I've been clicking on different stuff. I've been paying attention too, but I've been clicking on her website and tons of great resources coming from previously, before I worked on the Expression Engine team, working at a marketing agency. We lived and died by creating funnels for our clients and working on that. And just as she said, I loved what you said earlier on, moving at the speed of relationships. That's such a great way to look at it, because that is what good content and good marketing is all about, is creating those relationships. And you can't buy that overnight. It's not going to happen overnight. It does take the work. It does take a lot of lead up time. And you've got to make the decision that this is what you're going to focus on, and you're going to do it, and you're going to stick with it. And then you can be successful with it. Yeah. So a few questions here. And if you guys have any other questions, most of the comments, I'm sure you see them. Great presentation.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate those comments.
Just a couple Q&A here so far anyways. I think these are both really related. And this comes from Paul. And he says, developers often undervalue their work because tasks, even if difficult, are easy or old hat for us. Mm-hmm. How do we convey the true value for our services in a crowded marketplace? The mundane stuff like domain renewals or the complex like API integrations are sometimes easy to underprice.
What you're doing is you're suffering from the curse of knowledge, like everyone does, like I do all the time. Instead of thinking about how easy it is for you, think about the transformation it provides for your client. So like a domain renewal. If I don't renew my domain, my website goes down, right? Like no one can access my website. What does that mean for me as my client? How much money am I going to lose if my domain goes down, my website goes down? Think about it that way. So are you saving them the lost time and energy that's worth thousands of dollars? Well, think about it that way and then start your pricing. That's why I advocate for value pricing. I started my strategy session. I'm embarrassed to say this. I'm going to tell you guys, but it's just wrong. I started at $600. It was $600. It was hours and hours of work. It takes us weeks to put together the deliverable. It was $600 because I was like, I mean, but it's easy. Like messaging comes very easy to me. Talking, writing, speaking, getting people's stories is very easy for me. So I was like, well, it's easy for me, so it must be easy for everybody. No. People pay that $5,000 to $8,500, which is what we charge now, like it's nothing because it's not easy for them. So you also have to articulate to them what happens if you don't renew your domain? What happens if you don't integrate your API, right? And then what is your expertise? As you're positioning yourself as a guide, as an expert, how many years have you been doing this? That's what they're paying for. It feels easy for you because you're so good at it, right? I don't think that like if you were to know like, I don't know, Michelangelo or Picasso, they would be like, oh yeah, well, I've been painting for years. Anybody can do what I do. It's fine. It's, old hat. Like it's like paint by numbers. No, they're not thinking that. So think about it again from the perspective of your client. Take every single marketing asset or idea you create and take your hat off and put your client's hat on to see how it will make their lives better and what that is worth to them.
Definitely. All right. Anybody else have any questions for Aleya?
I see one here. How do you attract businesses on the unsexy things like maintenance and hosting sites?
Yes. Yeah.
It's for me, those I get it. They feel unsexy. So make them sexy. I mean, like when I wake up in the morning, I'm not a sexy beast. So I take a shower, I do my hair, I brush my teeth, sexiness goes up, right? So how do you then give them a bit of a makeover? Again, if you're thinking about maintenance, what makes them unsexy for you is like, oh, that just means I go in the back end and I check the links and I do the things. What makes it sexy for your client is your site will always work 24/7, 365, no downtime. That means that you can reliably count on attracting your clients and converting them on your website without any glitches. You have a worry-free website. A lot sexier to me. That story just took a shower and put on some lipstick and now is ready for the world, right? Again, it's about taking it from the perspective of the transformation you're providing and the problems you're solving, not what you're doing on the back end. If I talked about writing from what I did on a back end, it'd be like, so I'm in my sweats and I'm typing. And that's what you're paying for, is me in my sweats typing. That's not what they're paying for. They're paying for me to transform their brand. They don't care what I look like when I do it.
Right. Absolutely. All right. Any other questions, comments? If not, it is already 3:57. This day is flying by. So, Aleya, I will let you go. I appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you so much for all you shared. Looking forward to hearing how others reach out to you, use your resources, and grow their own businesses and what they're doing. So, yes. Again, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure to be here.
All right. Be sure, guys, like I said, just with our sponsors, follow up, give Aleya some love, give all of our sponsors, speakers, presenters, everybody some love and appreciation for all they're doing. We have only got about 2 minutes, and then we're going to be moving over to our final session of the day with Sarah Arnold Hall on taking action. So hurry, run, do what you've got to do, grab a glass of water, head on back to the sessions tab, and then click on Sarah's session, and we'll be getting started in a few minutes. See you guys soon.